So I'll be flipping between two screens. One will be this DSLR's recording and then the other one this webcam's recording. As you can see right away that this camera, the quality is so bad, it has washed me out. So the trick with this makeup is that you have to see what looks good on this screen rather on this. So the first step always and always has to be moisturizing your face. I'll be using this moisturizer from Pond's. And guys, whatever products I'll be using, I'll mention the links in the description box. To moisturize the under eyes, I'll be using this cream, just a tiny bit of it. Now right up what I'm seeing is that there is a lot of depth right here, a lot of darkness, so I need to counter that. I will have to use a corrector, just a concealer is not going to do the job. So instead of an actual corrector, I'll be just using a red lipstick. Now once this is done, I'll go in with powder. I'll be using this one from Lakme, and I'll just set this lipstick or corrector lightly, like with a very little product on the brush. So now when we study the dark circles on this webcam, you will see that all the darkness is saturated here and this part is already highlighted, even this part. So we definitely don't need to do that triangular technique. It will be just a waste of product. I will be focusing it right here, just slight tapping motions, no dragging. So guys, coming back to this camera, right away you can tell that I need more concealing because this darkness is still coming through, but once you go here you can see it's not required. So for foundation, I'll be going with this one from Wet n Wild. It's an absolute fave, and I'll be mixing it up again with the moisturizer. And while I'm doing this makeup, I just wanted to talk about one thing. A lot of people may think when they watch this video that who requires makeup for a video call or something like that. So makeup is something that you don't need, but if you require it, there's no harm in doing it. By the way, I'll be using my hands to blend this out. Okay, so the whole point is that, as I said, makeup is subjective. Let's take the example of drag makeup. Probably you will never go for a drag makeup for any occasion, but then there are people out there जिनके लिए drag makeup is their bread earner. So that is the whole point, that it may work for you, it may not work for you, it may work for somebody else. So let's approach makeup with a more wider and broader mindset. So now we will just set our face. I'll be setting with a very light hand because I have dry skin, so I don't want to go overboard with the powder. But make sure to set any place where you have applied the concealer because they are prone to creasing. Now you can see that even though the base is looking smooth now, it's quite washed out and there is not much definition to it. So what we are going to do is we'll add some definition by contouring. So let's start with this. Now if you feel that you have went a little overboard, just take a clean fluffier brush and go over it. So see, now when I'm looking in front, can you see that sort of shape right here? That's what we want. Let's go over the jawline. So my camera's battery died and I left it for charging, and I was applying blush on my face. So you can see here I already have the blush on. The blush palette that I'm using is from e.l.f. It is also one of those all-time favorite products. Okay, I will also put a tiny bit of blush on the tip of my nose and on the bridge, just a tiny bit. Now when it comes to adding definition to the eye, you have to keep in mind the light that is around you. So in India, we usually have fluorescent or white light in our houses. Whereas if you take for some other countries, let's say in Scotland, even in my room and most of the places that I visited to had yellow lights. So then to counter that, I would have used cooler tones. So right now I'll be adding a little bit of warmth onto my eyelids. But before I do that, I will go over with this contour kit and add just a little bit of depth, a little bit on the lower lash line too. Now I'll go back to this blush palette and I'll use this rusty orange sort of a color, and I'll be using a rounder brush, and now I'll start building it onto the outer corners. Now going in with a dusty rose shade, I'll be placing it onto the inner corners and then just blending it out with the orange that we put on the outer corners. Now since I want to define my lash line, the upper lash line a bit more, I'll be using this iconic kajal by Lakme, and I will just gently tap the upper lash line. For mascara, I'll be going in with this Blue Heaven Walk Free Waterproof Mascara. Now the trick here is to just push your lashes outwards, because this is what the sort of effect that we want. This eye just right away looks so much awake. A face can never be complete without filling in the brows. So we'll just go forward with that. Now we are going to move to a step that everybody loves, well at least most of us do, is highlighting. I'll be using Savannah Color Shimmer Brick, and I will just be using my pinky finger. I'll take a bit of this golden shade, just a tiny bit, and pop it here. That's it. This part, as you can see, is already quite highlighted in this particular footage, so I'll just leave that as it is. I'll just use my fingers, just the tip of the nose and a little bit on the bridge of the nose, a little bit here, just highlighting the brow bone, just a little bit on the cupid's bow. That's about it. Now we only have just one step left, and that is a lipstick. So for this particular look, I'll be using Touch of Spice from Maybelline. And yes, that's about it. So guys, this is the final look here on the camera and then here on the webcam. Everything that should have been defined has been defined. So yeah, these are all the tips and tricks that I accumulated and that I think will work really well for video calls, through your phones, tablets, laptops, whatever device you are using. And guys, that is the beauty of makeup, that you can work your way around with it, if it is for a real life or if it's drag or if it's for a video call. You can just manipulate things here and there and make it work. So with that, I'll sign off. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.